If you've ever been trapped into this cycle, I promise you, you are not the only one. I've been there. I know a lot of my friends and family have been there. And even clients that I do social media for have been in this cycle. I started to see it happening in somebody's life that was really close to me. And I immediately knew how to diffuse it because this has been something that has been reoccurring in my own life time and time and time again, especially when it comes to my own goals and the things that I want to do. So, if you ever felt this way, you're not alone. Number one, I feel like it's very common. And this cycle is the number one thing that I feel like stops a lot of people from getting to that end goal and that finish line. This daunting cycle looks like feeling so excited and motivated and ready to go, having all your thoughts planned out, mapping it out, and just starting on your new journey. That new change that you want, starting that business you always wanted to do, creating that idea. You're just so fired up, you're pouring into it, you're remaining consistent, and then all of a sudden you start to hit this plateau. And this plateau is what makes or breaks a lot of people from continuing that journey. The first feeling that I discovered that lies at that little plateau area where you are like, this isn't working. I just want to change my strategy. I don't know. Maybe I should just give up, throw in the towel. I just wish that I was at the point that I was already at, was impatience. And it's not only impatience, but it's irritability, it's anger, it's frustration. But at the end of the day, that big bow on the top is impatience. That feeling and that emotion that you have, thinking of when you accomplish and when you have, and the way that you're going to feel, how it's going to change the people around you, and how you're going to impact or have that beautiful outcome that you've always been desiring from starting it in the first place. It's the reason why we get so impatient, because there's a really strong emotion tied to the end goal and you want to feel it already. And that's why at the beginning you're so energized, you're so powerful. You're like, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to throw it all in and dedicate a whole bunch of time. And then it's like that slowly starts to fade because that emotion wasn't actually occurring at the time. The reason our nervous system often goes into fight or flight mode is because it thinks it's protecting us from danger. But you could be in the most safe environment of your entire life. Your brain does not know, your body does not know what is real and what's not. So it's going to mimic that feeling and that emotion if you're thinking about the end goal. And it's going to carry into this high. But when reality starts to hit and you're seeing the dreadfulness of the work and the consistency and how this isn't going to happen tomorrow, but it's going to be a slow burn, you start to get impatient. When I looked at the Hebrew translation of impatience, it translated to shortness of spirit. Now, we all know that the Holy Spirit is the source of living waters. Have you ever been dehydrated? Dehydrated to the point where you're feeling like slow moving, you may have a headache, you feel like you can't do anything, like your body hurts, you're like, oh, to the point where the only thing you can focus on is wanting water because you just feel so icky. And the reason I say this is because being short of the spirit, that is the same thing as being dehydrated. You don't want to wait on God. You want the thing now. You're thirsty. You're kind of like, I feel awful. I'm really annoyed. I'm irritated. I'm frustrated. I'm angry. I just want to feel the way that I was feeling when I started this journey, when the way that I know I'm going to feel when I cross that finish line. But when you start to consume water, and on the days where you are really hydrated and you're getting half of your body weight in water, you are feeling amazing. You're feeling energized. You're like, I don't even need this coffee today. You're noticing that your skin is more clear, your gut is moving better, you have more energy, you are smiling at people. I don't know. But overall, you just feel better. The more that you remain hydrated throughout your days, the better you start to feel over time. And then you realize, like, those days where you're not meeting your water goal and you're not drinking as much water, you're like, ooh, I'm really feeling the difference. That same feeling of hydration is like faith in the situation of working towards your goal. When you have faith in what you're doing and that progress, that slow period where you're hitting that plateau and you're getting impatient, faith is the one thing that is going to pump you up and give you that energy to continue to keep going. But it's not always the easiest to have faith in those moments because you're emotional. And of course, with impatience accompanies Discouragement. The Hebrew translation of discouragement is to become weak or to let go. Like when you're dehydrated, you become weak. You don't want to go to the gym. You don't want to do a lot of stuff. You may have brain fog. When you're discouraged, it's that same thing. You want to throw in the towel. You don't want to do what you've been doing and staying consistent anymore. You don't think it's working. You just want to give up. You want to let go. When you're in this state, it is so hard to remain faithful. It's so hard to drink your water and to get yourself back hydrated. And it's like the only thing that you want to do is lean into those emotions. I know this often very too well because I've been there, and there has been situations where I have pumped the brakes and I've stopped and I've thrown in the towel and I'm like, I'm not doing this. And then I pick it back up because I have those feelings and those emotions of when I'm get to the goal and when I reach the goal, and I get motivated again, and then I fall right back into that discouragement and impatience and I pump the brakes. And I realize this cycle is only just slowing me down. I had to think for a moment. The last time I got into this level of discouragement and impatience, I can no longer go through life with this cycle and also allow other people around me, my friends and family, and everyone who I talk to that has dealt with these feelings, go through these emotions as well, because the only thing it does is hold us back. Knowing that the Holy Spirit is the source of living water, you have to get back to the source and you have to get deep in the source. If you gotta just lay in bed and go to sleep and put on a show, do it. If that means that you're not gonna throw the towel in and you need to just do that, do it. But when you wake up the next morning, you better be ready to open up that Bible, get into your word, pray, do the things that you need to do. Because when I tell you, it is so important to be hydrated, in this case, meaning to have faith, it really is, because that is the one factor that is going to push you through that moment. Put yourself in a position where you can come across those emotions and fight them when they do arise. Now, that's so much easier said than done, because at the end of the day, this is a mentality situation. You have to do something that is going to overpower those negative thoughts. And that's why I say the Holy Spirit, for me, is the source to overcoming those negative thoughts. So I want to speak to the people who may not have the strongest faith, who may not know the Lord's character very well, who haven't spent a lot of time in their word and are just like, hey, I got this going on right now. I need to figure out a way to overpower these thoughts and emotions. And because I don't know the Lord very well, it's not going to help me in this moment. I get that and I understand that, because I've also been there at times. When you don't have that relationship with the Lord yet, it's not the easiest to just take advice from somebody and for them to be like, hey, you just need to focus on God, because you're like, I don't know what that means and I don't know what that looks like and I need help. What I will say it is, though, is it is a mentality situation. And that first foundation is going to be emotional regulation. If you know you're somebody who acts out of their emotions a lot and tends to do things emotionally and then maybe you regret them later, I say work on emotional regulation first before you even start the project, before you even go down the journey, or before you even pick back up where you were being consistent in. Focus on your emotional regulation, or do it simultaneously at the same time of you pouring into that goal. Work on ways to regulate your emotions, to be more wise about the decisions you make. Put on a YouTube video that explains emotional regulation, do some research on it, see what emotions tend to overpower you more than others. And I promise you that will just help you throughout your whole entire journey. Your future self will thank you now for doing that, because it's just going to make your journey 10 times easier, I promise. I'm a firm believer that not everything works for everyone. So when you figure out that system and what works best for you, you are going to know, trust me. Once that discouragement or that impatience starts to bubble up, you can always feel it. Like it's always like a few days, like you're like, oh, and then you're just like one day, because you're like, I'm so sick of this. I'm sick of this routine, or I'm sick of what's going on. It's like, be louder than it. Work harder, go to the gym, go do something that is going to continue to still pour into it, but it's going to take your mind off of that feeling of I'm so tired doing X, Y, and Z, or I'm over this, or this isn't working. Even go 10 times harder. Like, even go 10 times harder than what you're doing. Maybe that day you reach out to 10 more vendors. Maybe you start building up new designs and getting more creative. Whatever you got to do to start pushing past that discouragement and that impatience, don't allow yourself to sit in it. Don't allow yourself to believe it. When you were at the beginning of that journey and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so pumped up, I'm so motivated, let's go, like I'm ready, it's because you thought about the idea and you immediately embodied the feeling of what it was like to succeed in that idea. Practically are embodying a feeling that your future self is feeling. Obviously, your mentality is going to be like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And you're going to ride that high for a while you're pouring into it. So, what has helped me is kind of not tricking my brain, which can be helpful in a way of like putting yourself back into that emotional state, maybe through meditation or visualizing, but strengthening my faith by looking at all of my past situations that the Lord has helped me overcome. This I feel like is so looked upon whenever you're trying to increase your faith or you're in moments where your faith is very, very little. The Lord has carried you through so many hardships. He has been there with you in those situations where you thought you were never, ever, ever going to overcome. You did, and you're standing where you are and you're doing the thing that you're doing right now because you were able to go through that fire that the Lord carried you through. And I think that is one of the most beautiful and special things to know about the Lord, that He is always going to be by your side when you have felt defeated because the enemy has come in to kill, steal, and destroy. He has redeemed you 10 times more. I think that is such a beautiful way to look at faith and to know that, hey, even if you're going through a hard period right now, you're feeling discouraged, you want to give up, know the Lord has never, ever, 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 ever wanted you to give up, because He has brought you through some stuff that if He did want you to give up, He would have let go and not even helped you get to that end goal. Looking at my past situations and the past things I've overcome always keeps me strong in faith, and especially with my relationship with the Lord, because it just goes to show how much love He truly has for us. And also, if you have a reason why you are doing what you're currently doing, that you're currently pouring into and trying to succeed in, use your why as a motivator. That why, I am going to achieve this because it's going to help this many people. It's going to help my family. It is going to bring joy. It's going to bring expansion in people's lives. Use that why to help you to keep pushing. If you don't keep going and you decide that I'm just going to give up, I'm going to let go, and I'm going to try to find a new strategy or a new thing, you will never ever reach your why. You will never ever ever be able to achieve that. I think for me, sometimes when I think about my why, it overpowers any emotion that I'm feeling at that moment, because I'm like, no, I want to be able to feel that exact way that I was feeling the moment I thought about this idea. And I know the only way I'm going to get there is if I continue to keep pushing through. The Lord has carried me through so many things in the past. There's no way He's not going to be here with me on this journey. And He is going to carry me all the way through, because at the end of the day, the only way to the finish line is through the journey. The last thing to help you quiet those thoughts and overpower them is sometimes to just sit in silence. Sitting in silence and telling yourself, like, hey, we're safe, it quiets everything around you and everything that is happening. It allows you to attack the thought like firsthand and be like, no, that is not true. That is not what's happening right now. We're going to keep going. And it helps build your faith. I am now a very strong believer in breath work, something that I didn't necessarily see the benefits of until very, very recently. I am somebody who has a nervous system that will be on 10 and she does not want to shut off. Some days I feel so regulated and I go regulated for weeks, and then it's like other weeks I'm just like feeling this dysregulation and I'm like trying to pinpoint exactly what it is. But sometimes it's so out of your control. This one practice of breathing in for the count of 4, holding it for 4, and breathing out for 8 has helped regulate my nervous system like ridiculously. Whenever I'm feeling anxious, I do that practice and I find myself like, okay, I have more control over my thoughts. I have more control over the way that I'm feeling, and I feel recharged in a way. It's not easy. It's so weird because it's like you would think I've been breathing my whole life. Like, why would it not be easy? But there's so many ways that your breath can influence your body, even just the way that you walk and you talk. Singing is like practically all in your breath and how well you control your breath. I think that right there says enough. And obviously, oxygen is what is keeping our bodies here, able, alive, and well. Definitely working on some of those practices, meditation as well, doing something that's going to help you quiet those thoughts and strengthen your faith in some way. I'm always going to say having a relationship with the Lord is so important, and it's so life changing when you do start having that relationship with Him. And I promise you, it may be a little bit rocky at first in trying to learn and trying to find ways that you can get intimate with Him, but He is waiting for you. He always wants to hear from you. He wants to share his love with you always. And knowing that his presence is with you at all times is so comforting. It helps you get a little bit more grasp on this reality in life, because life can get a little bit crazy at times. It really can. If you are somebody who has found yourself in this cycle time and time again, and you're like, I'm over it, I'm done, I don't want to be in this cycle anymore, I just want to keep pouring into what I'm pouring into, even when you're not seeing the benefits and the fruit of it right away, and you feel like you're starting to reach that moment of like you want to give up, the number one thing that is going to save you is faith. Strengthening your faith, learning how to practice faith. It's not going to come easy. Faith, I'm still learning how to grow my faith in so many areas of my life. It is the one thing that I have seen so many successful people, the people who have actually achieved their goals or are standing in the dreams of what they have spoken to many people. I will say it is the faith and trust in themselves and in the Lord that has really gotten them to where they're at. And I want that for you, for everybody. I wanted to share with you guys some of the things that I have learned about this cycle and the layers that I peeled back on it during my research, because it is an awful cycle to get trapped in. It's probably one of the quickest ways to disrupt your journey and prevent you from reaching your goal. I don't want that for you. I know you don't want it for yourself. I hope that this video helped in some way, shape, or form. Continue to keep pushing through in any way that you find fits best for you. No way is ever going to be a one size fits all, and that's okay. But I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in another video. Bye.